So I'll just start letting people in, and Kirill, just wait for my cue. I'll introduce, and we can probably start with your session from there. So let me just start admitting everyone.
Okay.
There you go. Awesome. Let me just let some more people in. Hey everyone, we're going to start in the next 20 seconds. I'm just letting people in. So just hang in tight. Sweet. I don't see anyone else in the waiting room. Meanwhile, I think I'll just kick off in the interest of time. So, hello everyone, and welcome to ETH Online 2025 workshop titled Launch Explorers, Integrate SDKs, and Build AI Apps with Blockscout. Joining us today is Kirill, who will be taking us through this session. And with that, I'll pass it over to Kirill to get the session started. Over to you, Kirill.
Thanks, Calvin, for the nice introduction. Hi, everyone. Hello, hackers. My name is Kirill. I'm leading the research and part of the dev team at Blockscout. So yeah, I'll be your host for this workshop for this hackathon throughout the evening. So just a few words about Blockscout at first. The agenda for this workshop is basically to go through where we are at with Blockscout, what's the progress going on our side, and then we'll discuss the bounty for this hackathon and go through each of the specific bounties one by one to give you a little bit more details on each of them and maybe give you some ideas and hopefully answer some of your questions. So let's go. So the Blockscout today and has been for the past couple of years the #1 and the most popular open source blockchain explorer for the EVM networks. And as of today, it powers already more than 3,000 EVM networks. This includes different mainnets, testnets, private chains, devnets, some chains that go up and down every day. So pretty much almost all EVM networks today use Blockscout. So why they choose to use Blockscout for their needs as their primary blockchain explorer, as their secondary blockchain explorer? So first is that Blockscout is the only fully open source solution that can be self-hosted, can be hosted by a dedicated provider, can be hosted by us. Then the Blockscout is fully compatible with different quirks and features of the specifics of the certain EVM layer 1s, layer 2, specific rollup families, OP stack, Arbitrum, ZK Sync, and so on. Then it's also highly configurable and customizable with all the different modules that can be tuned for the specific needs of the specific chain and client. We have a lot of options and modules you can play around throughout the Blockscout platform and configure your instance as you wish. And also it provides a very friendly and familiar user interface for the end user of the Block Explorer. And it's always nice to see the familiar UI on a new chain you are trying to explore. And it just simplifies things a lot. And as you will see today, the Blockscout is super easy and quick to launch for any new network. And you can actually do it throughout this hackathon yourself. So now straight to the bounties. We have a lot of individual prizes for this hackathon. So we'll go one by one through each of them. So first we have a bounty for the use of the Autoscout Explorer Launchpad that we developed at Blockscout. So here we have 3 prizes, 2K, 1K, and $500 for 3 places. So basically the criteria here is use Autoscout Launchpad that we'll discuss on the next slide to launch and customize your own Blockscout Explorer for your own chain, for any public chain that doesn't have the Blockscout instance yet, and use it throughout the hackathon to browse transactions, to access an API, to fetch some data through the API. So as long as you launch the Autoscout Explorer as part of this hackathon and use it in any way, that qualifies you for the bounty, and then we'll just judge based on the overall quality of the product, regardless of how well you use the Autoscout, because pretty much, configuring the Autoscout will take no longer than a few minutes. Then we have a price of 2 and 1,000 for the best Blockscout SDK integration that we go through again in the next slide. That basically allows you to, Blockscout SDK allows you to integrate a piece of Blockscout Explorer as part of your user interface of your own app, of your own product, and to bring users some information that previously they had to access directly from the Blockscout in a separate tab directly to your user interface, so they can never leave your UI of your app, of your product, and so that you can create a more seamless experience overall. And then finally, we have a few prices for the use of Blockscout MCP. We'll go through them a bit later. So yeah, now back to the specifics. So the Autoscout is the first bounty, and it allows you to deploy this production-ready instance in 5 minutes for any network, which includes the Blockscout API, the same API that you can use for any public networks, hosted by any chain provider, hosted by us, hosted by any rollup as a service provider. But for more simple cases, we created this auto deploy tool. Yeah, that allows you to launch this instance without actually launching any Kubernetes clusters, launching Docker composes, and configuring that manually. You can do it directly through the UI. Basically, the main thing you need here is the public JSON RPC of the node that your EVM blockchain is running, and so that Blockscout can connect to it and index all of the relevant data, index all of the blocks, transactions, token transfers, and so on. And then, of course, you can apply some nice customizations and select some specific UI aspects and color schemes and so on that you can see, that you want to see throughout your interface. And yeah, you'll get a production-ready instance hosted on our infrastructure in a matter of minutes. It will be publicly accessible through the cloud.blockscout.com. And yeah, you'll be able to use it throughout this hackathon to fetch any data through the API, maybe to browse manually some transactions and accounts through the Explorer. And yeah, basically any way you use it throughout the hackathon works for us. So yeah, feel free to come and check the tool out. And if you wish to create an Explorer, yeah, we can distribute you some free credits so that you don't have to pay for it yourself. Yeah, you can come to Discord and submit your email address, and yeah, we'll issue you a small voucher that will be enough to launch a fully production-ready instance through Autoscout for the duration of this hackathon. So then a few words on the SDK. So yeah, basically the SDK allows you to bring the customizable transaction notifications through to your dApp that will show the detailed transaction status, the transaction summary, with links to the relevant Blockscout instance. Yeah, it will bring a nice and smooth UI element for this transaction confirmation pop-ups. And then also you can use the SDK to display a detailed recent transaction list for the connected wallet. So yeah, basically, if you're building any product that involves connecting wallet and sending some transactions and doing something on-chain, you can easily integrate the Blockscout SDK to not write these components yourself, to develop a more smooth UI in a faster, basically much faster. And yeah, we'll be happy to grade your projects based on the usage of the Blockscout SDK and how well the product behaves overall. So now on the MCP. So as part of the MCP bounty, we have actually two sub-bounties. So first of all, we have two bounties for the usage of the Blockscout MCP itself. For the first and second prize, so we'll grade the best usage of the Blockscout MCP among all the projects, and we'll select the best projects using the Blockscout MCP. And then we have the second prize in the same category with same amounts, but that will be judged separately. So we'll be issuing the same prizes, but on a separate track for the best advanced prompts, LLM prompts that were developed and specifically target usage with the Blockscout MCP. These prompts can be written as part of the overall Blockscout MCP submission. So if you use Blockscout MCP, then for sure you'll have some custom prompts that target it. So we'll pick some of the prompts from those. But even if you don't use the MCP in your product, you can still check it out, develop some prompts, and just put it somewhere on the side in your product submission. As long as we find the link to the specific prompts that you want to showcase for this bounty, we'll do our best to judge it fairly. So now on the MCP. So yeah, the model context protocol integration with Blockscout, basically we developed this service that allows AI agents to do basically anything that a regular human can do through Blockscout within the Blockscout UI. It can easily search and inspect block transactions, blocks, transactions, token transfers, specific addresses. It can look through address details, the balances on those addresses, different NFT transfers, and so on. It can inspect and search through smart contract source codes, look through specific methods, maybe even search for some bugs in these smart contracts and so on. And yeah, it can also request data directly from any smart contracts as you can through the regular JSON RPC interface, or it can also request any data that you can find in any of the Blockscout APIs. Yeah. Basically, the MCP will allow you and your LLM AI agent to do it much more efficiently than a regular GPT interface or LLM would do it, because Blockscout MCP is specifically trained to work with blockchain data, to work with raw blockchain data, and it's specifically trained to use Blockscout in a certain way, which is the most efficient way to use it. So yeah, just one of the examples that we built on top of Blockscout MCP is the Blockscout X-Ray custom GPT. This is, of course, a very simple example that allows regular user to access the power of Blockscout MCP and all of its tools in the form of a chatbot. But of course, we encourage you to develop any your own chatbot interfaces, maybe some trading agents giving user advices on what to do on chain, maybe some analytic platforms that help users to understand what's going on in specific transactions, what's going on with specific wallets by analyzing their transaction history. And yeah, basically it's up to you. It's up to the power of the AI agent that you're using here, and up to the power of the specific prompts that you develop that will target the Blockscout MCP and use all of its tools to access the blockchain data in a specific way, and then analyze it and give some useful advices and action items to the end users. So on the Blockscout MCP, yeah, we have an extensive documentation on GitHub and on the website. It can be easily used for testing and for regular queries by easily switching it on in Cloud Desktop, Cursor, Gemini CLI, and so on. And of course, it's also available through the MCP API, which is a standardized MCP interface, so that it can be turned into an external API to any of your project builds. So yeah, and just one more time to mention that we award 4 bounties overall here, 2 for the best, 2 for the overall best MCP integrations, and then 2 for just best advanced LLM prompts that target the Blockscout MCP and can be as part of the bigger project, but can be separate and standalone prompts as well. So yeah, here's once again the bounties recap. And of course, the overall requirements for any of these bounties, you have to actually use the tool that you apply for. We'll check the source code for the usage of the tool. It's not enough to just put the links, but the usage and the code that's used in the specific tool you have chosen for this hackathon must be actually runnable. It must be present. in your presentation, and it should be visible that it actually works and does something useful. Then, of course, we'll also appreciate, and it will increase your chances for the win if you use Blockscout for all on-chain transaction links, address links in your tab, and actually refer user to the correct Blockscout instance and not any other blockchain explorer. And if you are deploying and using any smart contracts on chain on any of the Blockscout supported networks, we'll also highly appreciate if you can verify your DApp smart contracts in Blockscout, verify the source codes so that users and AI agents can use those to look for something and analyze them. And yeah, don't forget to show how you use Blockscout in your submission, and don't forget to describe it in text format and explain it in the video submissions if you plan to do such. So yeah, that was pretty much it for this workshop. See if we have some questions. Hopefully I can answer that. And then after this workshop, feel free to come to Discord, to our Blockscout Discord, to the ETHGlobal Discord. We have a separate partner channel there. You can feel free to ask any questions there. Our tech support team will be happy to answer those. And yeah, if you need any Autoscout credits, also please come to ETHGlobal Discord.
Awesome. Thanks, Kirill. I was just going through the chat box and I see like one question when you just started off. So if you just, in case, if you want to scroll through the chat box, or else I can read it for you as well. It's a pretty big question from Tat.
Here I am. Actually, also can explain.
Oh yeah, go for it, Tat.
Hey, Kirill. So I was trying to work with MCP, and do I understand correctly? For MCP, I also need an API key, right?
No, I believe it should work without API key.
For MCP, but because when I read the documentation, I see somehow in MCP's documentation what I need some kind of API key, or maybe it was a misunderstanding.
Yeah, let me check on those after the workshop, but yeah, if you can come to the Discord just right after this, yeah, we'll figure it out for you.
But
I
just
think
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it should work without, but in case I'm mistaken, yeah, and we changed it sometime recently, yeah, we'll be happy to issue one, of course.
Okay, then if I need an API key, it links me to Optimism webpage of Blockscout. It's confusing. Like, even for its Optimism, will it, like, once I get the key, will it still work for exploring other than Optimism, other EVM chains?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just an interface, right? Where I get an account and API key. That's it, right?
Yeah, the same MCP API it's a single instance of the API, and it can be used to access any data on any chain. Yeah, it's connected to pretty much all Blockscout instances.
And also, I installed SDK of Blockscout already, so it was quite easy, right? You had like 4 type of requests, like once you installed the package, like transaction history and so on and so on. Like, if I just integrate it in my app, is it already enough to qualify for the, challenge? Because it seems too easy.
Yeah, of course, it's enough to qualify, but we, as I said before, we won't judge you on how well you integrated the SDK because it's quite easy to integrate and it's not much you can do here. But so we'll just filter all the projects that integrated it good enough, basically spend a few minutes on it, and then we'll just judge on the overall project quality and usability and usefulness.
Okay.
In our understanding.
And the last question. So I do have also, we do also have an agent, right, in our app for the dashboard, the SDK is integrated, right? Just to track the transactions, simple, right? Of connected wallet and balance and positions, right? But if we also will have an agent, does it make sense to just hook up the agent with SDK, or like it makes more sense just to do MCP for everything? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, MCP in its current form is primarily for reading data, and then SDK is for displaying send transactions. So you can use MCP for reading data, and then if you suggest to user to send some actual transactions, to do something on-chain, to write some data, basically, then you can integrate SDK on top to also display the status and history of those transactions.
Okay, but if, let's say, I don't send any transactions, I just read the transactions what are on chain or coming transactions, MCP is basically enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome. I believe there's like one more two set of questions from room reactor Kirill for you on the chat box.
Yeah, let
Just
me read it. So here, I think the answer is yes. You can use the MCP if your data you're talking about is actually on-chain. So as long as it's some on-chain data, the MCP and Blockscout will be able to index it and will be able to offer you a way to access it. So yeah, but of course, if this data is not on-chain, then yeah, MCP can't do much. But as far as I get, it's on-chain. So yeah, you can at least try to use MCP for it, and maybe it will be useful.
Cool. Just waiting for in case if anyone has any more questions, feel free to unmute yourself or probably raise your hands. We have a couple more minutes to end the session. I'll just wait for the next 10-15 seconds in case if anyone has any questions.
Or maybe also a small question. Because you guys operate only on EVM chains, right? Is there some kind of way to go outside of EVM?
So we do operate, yeah, only on the EVM side of the chains. We support some not only EVM chains where the part of the chain is EVM and then the second part is not EVM, like TAC on Ton or Neon on Solana or something like that. But yeah, we primarily index on the EVM sites. Then for any non-EVM data, we prefer to link to other explorers, to other tools, since it's not something we specialize at.
So if, let's say, I use MCP and will ask agent to read the data from non-EVM chain, what it will be answering?
It probably won't be able to help you, yeah, in this situation.
Okay, but I can train the agent to just use another explorer for that.
Of course, absolutely.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Awesome. Any more questions, anyone? Oh, okay. Kirill, I think Rom Reactor has one more for you. Uh,
Yeah, to this question also the answer is yes. If you use MCP in any way and it's actually used in your product demo and you actually used it throughout the development, then yeah, it qualifies you, and then we'll just judge on the overall submission quality and usefulness.
awesome. Sweet. Thank you, Kirill, for running the session. And like you mentioned, feel free to connect with the Blockscout team whenever you're building, and in case you have any questions for the team, feel free to put a question in the partner channel on Discord, and the team will get back to you whenever they're free. So thanks again, Kirill, and the rest of you all have a great weekend ahead and happy hacking. See you all soon.
Thanks, Calvin. Thanks, hackers. Good luck.